Hello, Flosstube. This is Jenny. I am from Stitching Jennie. This is my first Flosstube in like 2 years. So, welcome back. I thought I would share my experience at my first cross stitch retreat. I went to Stitch West 2023 and had a fabulous time. So today is Wednesday, October 25th, 2023. And so Stitch West was about a week and a half ago, almost 2 weeks at this point. And I was able to go with my sister, who is actually the one who taught me how to cross stitch. And we had a fantastic time. So kind of to start it off, why don't I show you the piece that I took for the brag table. Having never done it, I kind of started small. This was one of my most recent finishes. And I took it. This is what like the back looks like. This is Winterful Friends by Silver Creek Samplers. Pretty sure. If it's not, I will put it below. But I changed most of the colors, all within the called for feel, but with fancy floss that I had on hand. So that is what's that. I finished it with some chenille trim that actually it's yarn that I got from the local craft store. And this is on 32 count linen that I dyed myself. So I'm really proud of that one. So that's what I took for the brag table. Having never done it before, I didn't really know what to expect. Now that I do, I think depending on what my travel would be like, I would maybe do a more medium size piece. So that's what I took for the brag table. So Stitch West went from Friday at noon until late Sunday night. Probably, I think we left at 8 o'clock on Sunday night. I have been wanting to go to Stitch West since it first became a thing, like their very first one. And my sister was like, no, I don't want to go. This is money that I could spend on actual stitching stuff. And I ask her every couple of years. And so this time I was like, okay, what if I pay for the hotel and all you have to do is pay your entrance fee? Because I mean, I would be staying anyway. I'll just pay the hotel. Just come. And I must have caught her on a really good day because she actually said yes. And she keeps telling me that she's glad she said yes, that she thought she was just going to come and have a fun weekend with her sister and just enjoy stitching time with me. But she loved it. Like, she's already talking about what her next one is going to be. Like, hadn't even finished, I think, day 2. It might even been day 1. And she was already talking about, this is what I want to do. Oh, and I heard about this one and I want to go to that one. And so it was just kind of fun that she enjoyed it as much as I did. I loved having the chance to meet people that I knew online that I've never met in person. Some of the most genuine, kind people, and meeting them in person was such a gift. And I was a little nervous going into it. So I had my sister, but then sitting at a table with all these other people, that was a little intimidating to me. But it wasn't. Like, the people by us, they just were like, hey, do you have a spot? Great, come sit with us. And they are local stitchers, so they stitch at our LNS, the Craft Center of Fine Stitchery, every Friday morning. And they're like, come stitch with us any Fridays that you have off. We would love to have you. And they were the kindest people and just pulled us right in. And as we were sitting there, within the first probably 10-15 minutes, we saw another lady just by herself, and we invited her to come and that was Kathy. And Kathy was so kind and sat down with us, and we had a great time kind of pulling her in. She's from California, and so it was great to get to know her. And Jennifer, Carol, and Kim were the other local stitchers, and then my sister Melanie and then me were at the table. So it was great. At each spot, they had a little gift that I will show you. Deb and Kefren from Snug Harbor. Well, I guess it's not. Anyway, they're the ones that put it on. Deb, I know, is Snug Harbor Crafts, but I don't remember what their Flosstube is. But anyway, they put it on and they did a fantastic job. There was an annular eclipse that weekend, and we had in Salt Lake, it was going to be a pretty good view. It wasn't going to be like the fire eye or whatever they called it that southern Utah was getting, but we had a fantastic view still. So they had 3D glasses. Saturday morning we all went out, and it would be cloudy and then it'd be clear and then cloudy and then clear. So there were lots of little clouds all over the sky, and so we would start to get a good view of it, and then the clouds would separate, and then or they'd roll in, and then we'd be like, ah, and then the clouds would separate and we'd be like, yay. And it was just funny having all these women out on the corner of one of the fairly busy street in Salt Lake, like with glasses on, like ooh, I'm sure we were quite the sight, but it was fantastic. We had so much fun. And let's see, so that they had glasses on the table, and then well, let's see if I can find it. Actually, I'll show it when I get to it. But this was the bag that I ended up taking. I needed kind of a nice heavy bag, and I found this one on Amazon. And it has a lot of storage, and it is a teacher's bag. That's kind of what it's listed as. And it has lots of pockets inside. As I empty it, I'll show you, but it fit all of my stitching perfectly, all the doodads, all the extras. Like, it was fantastic. I was so glad that I had purchased it. To get ready, made a little table placemat. Sorry, I bumped the camera. I made myself a placemat, and I've never made one before, so I was really proud of myself. And kind of made these little quilting lines in it. And that's what the back looks like. This flower fabric is a Pioneer Woman fabric that I got at Walmart. And then the back fabric was just something from one of the local craft stores that I found that I felt like looked really well, went really well with it. I also made one for my sister, and then I made this bag. It is a new to me style of bag. So normally I've done vinyl ones in the past. I've done some envelope style with the flap that comes down, but I wanted to try an all fabric sided bag because at some point I have a cross stitch that I want to put across the front of a bag, and I thought this would be a great way to practice. And it's big enough. I made mine big enough to fit an 11 by 11 Q snap because I do have a few of those. But so I did this. I found the tutorial from Helen D. She's also East Coast Crafter, I think, on Instagram, but her Flosstube, I think, is Helen D. And I can link that below. So I have the lace, again, the same fabric. This one I did miss, yeah, you can see it right there. I missed catching that seam. So I'll have to go back and hand sew it. And then apparently, I wonder, oh, that's from my fabric. So, and then inside's just that same yellow. I really like this style. I think for most of mine, I'd probably do it a little bit smaller, closer to like what my envelope style is, or the vinyl ones are. For most of mine, I do have a couple of, I usually use like an 8x11 Q snap. I kind of take an 8x8 and an 11x11 and smash them together like this, which I'll show you that project in just a second. But it fits perfectly height-wise, width-wise. It would be awesome. I just wanted to put one of my new starts in it. So I made one for my sister, one for me. I used a craft weight interfacing. I always forget that word. And I think I would use a different one. It was what I had on hand. I thought it would be great and add some stability to it, but it doesn't look very nice. It looks very wrinkled. Like, it's not, I think I would go with the one that Helen recommended. I would not pick a craft weight thinking, oh, it'll be fabulous, but it's not. I would definitely do what Helen recommends, a lighter, kind of a medium weight. And then I put one of the charms that I made on. Here, let me grab a card really fast. That will help you see. I just got a bunch of charms and put little lobster claws on them. And those were the gifts that I made for people. I just made a bunch of little zipper pulls for people. But so those were my Stitch West pieces that I wanted to take and have prepared, because I didn't know what the tables would look like. I wanted to make sure I had a nice clean surface. And then for my table mates, I made one of these little orp beds. It's just a little bit of felt on there with I put fusible fleece on the other side to kind of give it some extra. And I have one of these that Erica, a girl called Erica on Instagram, she was also part of Steel City Stitchers. I haven't seen her in a while, so I don't think she's filming with them at the moment. But she made one for me when we did one of our sales together, and I use it all the time. It's one of my favorite things. I use it anytime I take projects anywhere. It is like always in my bag. It's like a go-to thing. So I thought that would be really nice. And it coordinated with my little thing. So I will insert a picture of my setup for you guys to see at the end of what, you know, my little table setting ended up looking like. So that was really great. I was happy that I did that. Let's see. So I made the little orp beds. I also made some needle minders out of buttons for my table mates and a zipper pull. And then, like I mentioned before, I actually have a few left over. I got a pack of charms from, I think it was Walmart, and I just made up a bunch with lobster claws. There were some that were silver, some that were gold. I usually let them pick if they wanted silver or gold, and then just kind of handed one. Some people got to pick their own. It just kind of depended, but I just put it on a little piece of index card to hand out, and then put them in a Ziploc bag and just kind of had them ready anytime anyone dropped off a little gift or something, or I wanted to give something to someone that I had met. That's the gifts that I made. Let's see. let's go to one of my starts, my new starts. So the one that's in my new bag, it is Snowplace Like Home by Primrose Cottage. Cute little snowman. And this one, let me put a little board behind it. So that's where I got. So I just have my little snowman. It was a center start. This is, I think it's like Vintage Stormy Night is what it's called. It's just a Zweigart. The light where we were sitting, my table mates, they were awesome. They were like, oh, this area has better lighting. Look at all the light above us. We're gonna sit here. And it was perfect. So that's where we were sitting, and I didn't have any problems with anything except for some reason this gray fabric, it didn't play well with the lighting that we had. So I actually had my little neck light that I got, my travel neck light, and took that with me, and that worked fantastic. And it's rechargeable and has like 3 different settings. I got this on Amazon and it works fantastic, but I have other projects that I didn't need a light for, and so I decided why sit and kind of make effort when there were other things that were easier to stitch. And this was like my last day, the 3rd day I started this, and I got this cute needle minder while I was there. That was from Abby at Top Knot Stitcher. She was there as a vendor, and this is what I bought, one of the things I bought from her, and I really loved it. But I'm excited to start this. It's a super quick, easy. There's a couple of DMC flosses that I didn't have that I would sub with some fancy flosses that were in the same tones. So those will be my fancy floss that I use instead. So anyway, that is that piece. And like I said, I started that Sunday morning. Let's see. One of the pieces that I worked on was it had a lot of fill-in. So I did, this is Pair of Pilgrims by Lizzie, Kate, Miles, and Priscilla. And I finished Miles last year, and so I was working on Priscilla right here. And I've changed the colors a little bit on this one. So let's see, pull out my working copy really fast. So I changed Cider Mill Brown to Weeks Chestnut, and Chestnut I changed to Classic Colorworks Blackbird. And the reason I did that was because I thought that his jacket was pretty black, and that's what I loved about it. I love the image, the cover image, but when I actually went and pulled Chestnut, it was a lot lighter, and I didn't like it at all. And I really loved this dark look. And so I went and I took my flosses, and my niece helped me. We were there for probably a good 20-30 minutes just trying to decide what to do with him. And we found that Classic Colorworks Blackbird had enough blackish, but with a hint of brown, that I could still use that chestnut as like the mid-tone in his pants. So that's what I worked on. I got to the point, found her spot. So here's Miles, here's Mr. Pilgrim, and then I started Priscilla. I did all of the blue essentially. I had just enough stitched here to know where I was starting. But you can see this is that Classic Colorworks Blackbird, and then this line of his pants, the kind of the lighter tone in his pants is that chestnut. So quite a bit different. But while I was stitching it, Deb came over and she was like, Debbie came over and she was like, oh, I actually have that. I need to get back to it. So I told her kind of what I did. And so I need to email her the color changes because I'm sure she wouldn't remember after all the things. But because she kind of was running into kind of that similar, you know, dilemma of what do you do? So I worked on that the first day, majority of the first day. And really liked how easy it was to just kind of go up and down and fill in, but I was getting a little bit bored. And so I pulled out another piece that I worked on for a while. It's Every Season by Tiny Modernist. It's this one right here. And I was working on the fall piece. So I finished the spring and I was working on the fall piece. And it was really easy to stitch, really easy to see. Good chunks of color, so I wasn't having to be super careful in my counting. But a little more color change than just the same floss color over and over again. And I will show you where I'm at that in just a minute. But then Saturday nights, my sister and I had planned a new start together. We thought it would be really fun to do a new start. So we both have this chart. It's from MP Studio or Studia. And it is a haunted house and it's on plastic canvas. This is a European, not a European, like a Russian type kit. And we got it a couple of years ago from mybobbin.com. And I've finished several of their pieces. Really easy to see, really easy to do. We started that, it was probably 9 o'clock at night on Saturday. And this is where I got, because I only stitched for a couple hours. This is the trick or treat part of the back. So you can see right here, this part, that's where I'm at. And I'm doing it on the provided for canvas, plastic canvas. And their pieces come with the board of colors like this. I've only once never had enough floss, and I think it was a fluke because there was dramatically not enough floss. But they're DMC colors, so I was able to color match it when I got home. It wasn't on this chart. It was another piece that I've done, but I've always had extra, like almost do one other side extra. So it was really unusual on that one piece. So if you're hesitant at all, I would say absolutely try one of these kits. They're really fun. They're super cute. You stitch them so that one's the front and one's the back, and it's reversible. So my sister started on the black part of the background. And I think it's funny because we always work on the totally different sections than the other. And I just think it's kind of funny. But that was our new start together. They had a bell that you could ring when you finished. And Sunday when I switched from my snowman piece back to the Every Season piece, I was getting pretty far, and I thought I might be able to finish this. And I didn't say anything, but I'm like stitching away, and I had gotten sick the few days before Stitch West. I mean, to the point that I called in sick and I slept Wednesday till noon, and I slept Thursday till noon, and then was in bed again by like 9:30, 10 o'clock at night. I was not feeling well. I took a COVID test. It wasn't COVID. My sister brought me, she works for doTERRA, so she brought me a bunch of oils and stuff, like, here, let's get you better. So I was doing everything I could. I woke up Friday morning and felt well enough to go. But because of my cold and how loud it was in there, I lost my voice. And so I could hardly talk Sunday anyway. So I'm just like plugging away while my sister's talking to Kathy, our table mate, and I'm just like stitching. I'm stitching like crazy. And it was kind of fun. And so my idea is, so I'm stitching them separately. So each hexagon separately, because I decorate seasonally and I wanted to be able to put them out seasonally. So I have the first one finished, the spring piece. So this is my finish for it, just to kind of give you an idea of what it's going to look like. I have some rouged grosgrain ribbon that I stitched to the sides. I finished it in a hexagon shape. And then this linen is 32 count water lily by Zweigart. And on each piece, I'm taking something out and adding it back in as a button, as a Jabco, just another button company button. And in this one, I did the sheep. Okay. So that's the idea. This is what it's going to look like. Okay. So I'm stitching away, and I'm like maybe 50, 60 stitches away, and my sister starts packing up. And I'm like, okay, I guess I'll be done. And she's like, oh, no. I just am done. And so didn't want to start anything new, but I was done. And so you can keep stitching for another half hour. And I'm like, great. So I'm like back, and because she's like, are you done with that? I was like, almost. And so then she laughed and she's like, okay, I didn't realize how close. Okay, you have a half an hour. Can you do it? So I'm like flying. I'm flying. And I finished it. And this is how it turned out. So there is a pumpkin that goes in this section that I left out, and I have a button, a pumpkin button that will go there instead. So I was able to finish that. Sadly, they were cleaning up. They were starting to put some things away, and the bell was one of the things that they had put away. So I go up to ring the bell, and it's gone. So I hit the table, and I'm like, ding, ding, ding. Yeah, literally actually said, ding, ding, ding. And I'm like laughing at myself so hard. And one of the ladies at the table in front of me, she pulls out her cowbell and starts ringing her cowbell, and I show off my lovely little finish. But so I didn't technically get to ring a bell, but I finished it at Stitch West, which made me really happy and kind of fun. I had no expectation of having a finish. Like, I went not thinking I would finish anything. So the fact that I did was really exciting to me. So that was my only finish while I was there. And my sister had two. And did she go up to ring the bell? No. I took a picture of them. So maybe I might include those. But you'll see me in my pictures. I'll share one of me like just laughing. Like, I'm just laughing as I'm showing it off because I'm like, ding, ding, ding. I'm such a dork. But it's fine because it makes life fun. But I also went shopping. I mentioned they had some vendors there, and we had I focused mostly on fabric because there's something about seeing fabric in person versus online that really makes a difference. So I bought the one needle minder from Abby at Top Knot. And then she had some, this one's a fat quarter. So that's Silver Fox. It's 40 count by Fiber on a Whim that I got. It's just kind of a nice gray blue. Like a, anyway, I think that's showing up pretty well. So I really liked that. And, oops, let's fold it the other way. And then I also bought Cream and Sugar by Fiber on a Whim. This one's a 32 count. And I really loved how warm this is without it feeling really dark. So this is it compared to the white, to kind of give you an idea. So more golden than like a coffee tea dye would be very much lighter. It would be amazing for like a sampler if you're a sampler person, or if you're just wanting a good warm neutral. I think that would be fabulous. So I bought those from Abby. And then there was Under the Sea Fabrics there. And that's where I spent a good chunk of my money. The first piece is Emerald Grotto. It's a 32 count Joblin. So it's a lot lighter. And there are very faint, you might be able to see it here, very faint emerald spots on this one. So if it were a linen, it definitely would have a lot more of that. But I thought it was beautiful, and I'm a sucker for a pretty blue. So I definitely felt like I needed some Emerald Grotto in my life. Then I bought, this one is River Sticks. It's 32 count. This one is an opal. So you might be able to see some of that shimmer. And it is a beautiful gray mottled. There's a little bits of brown in it, but it's just, it was too beautiful to pass up. I thought it might look really neat with a Halloween piece. And that one is a fat quarter as well. She was so nice and cut it down. It was a fat half, and she offered to cut it down for me. And then this last one is Sea Witch, 32 count, and it is an opal as well. And I think it's pretty obvious that this one's an opal. I loved this one. Like, of all of them, for some reason, I was just drawn to this one. I thought it could be a really neat Halloween piece. I don't know. I don't know what I'll put on it, but I had a few ideas for the River Sticks, but I had nothing really planned for this one. It was just too pretty to pass up. So those were from Leslie at Under the Sea Fabrics. She's amazing. She's such a genuine, kind, funny person. If you ever get the chance to meet her in person, or I know she has some retreats that she does, she was amazing. I loved visiting with her. All of the vendors were fantastic. There were a couple of designers there. There was Satsuma Street, and there was the featured designer was Satsuma Street, and Little Stitch Girl. So Satsuma Street, I bought a couple of pieces from. There. So this one is, I think, Halloween Frog. I have wanted him for forever. And seeing him in person and the sparkle and the beauty of the beads and the sequins, I just couldn't pass him up. So I bought him. It comes with all the floss, a needle, all the beads, like fantastic. And then my sister saw these that she liked. So I bought them for her for Christmas, and she knows about it. So it's no real surprise. Again, fabulously packaged. Fantastic kit. Beautiful. This one is One-Eyed Jack. This one's Wise Guy. And she went back to try to buy more, but she was sold out. She sold out of, I think, majority of her kits, if not all of them. I mentioned that we had a couple of designers. So Satsuma Street, she gave us, as part of the retreat, she gave us first this new piece. This is exclusive to Stitch West, probably for at least a year. I don't know how long. Usually it's a year. This is Christmas Fun. It's another one of those ornament kits, and it has everything: perforated paper, beads, needle. Like, you could just take this and a pair of scissors and be good. So there was that one. And then this one was my favorite. This one is just a chart. It's Winter Welcome, and she designed it exclusively for Stitch West. So beautiful. The stitch count is 102 by 137, so perfect, like a nice size. And she said that it was based off of her, when she bought her house, there were a lot of birdhouses, and she was going to pull them all down, but then in the spring there were all these birds and bird nests in them, and so she took that and kind of made a sweet winter welcome. So my daughter loves birds, so that will probably be stitched in honor of her. I don't know that I'll give it to her, but I will stitch it in honor of her. And then I loved these. These were beautiful. So Little Stitch Girl, they presented theirs Friday night. First off, Jordan went first, and theirs was, they were talking about how it was in the spring, probably back in March, right after, during market, they talked with Jody and talked to Leslie, because Leslie at Under the Sea Fabrics dyed the fabric for them. And they were talking about what they wanted to do, and they were kind of sick of snow, because we got record-breaking snow. There was a ski resort that got the most snow they've ever gotten here in Utah. So we had snow. It snowed probably through the end of April, and that stuck. And then we even had some snowstorms through May that didn't necessarily stick. Like, it kind of stuck to the grass, and then it was gone within like a couple of hours. But so we had so much snow. So anyway, this is Jordan's piece. It's a Quaker style mountain cabin scene. This is probably my favorite. I was so excited when we got this one. And it's based kind of off of a poem by Robert Frost, Stopping by Woods on a Snowy Evening, by Robert Frost. And she included that on the back. And it is just a beautiful, beautiful color chart. It's so easy to read. Beautifully done. And then her mom, Jamie, designed this one. And I love the saying. She was like, I was so over winter when I was designing this. It says, I love when winter starts, but even more when winter departs. And it just made me laugh. So I definitely will be stitching this. It will be a January display piece for sure. January, February, like, I start really struggling with all the snow in the winter. So that one is a for sure. And they stitched it on London Fog by Under the Sea Fabrics, a 32 count. So that ends up being like an 8x8 for both of them, and one skein of floss, other than the white. You need two of those, and you could stitch all of it on a fat quarter. Yeah, I think it was a fat quarter. So anyway, really excited about those. Also, oh, my stickers got bent. They gave us super cute stickers and a water bottle, which my sister has told me actually changes colors when it gets ice in it. So I'm excited to see that. Let's see. Oh, and they gave us floss tags. Cute little floss tags that match. And I forgot to punch mine. She had the punches there that you could use. And I forgot to punch mine. So I finally found the little table piece that Debbie made. So she had one of these at every table. And then the cute little baby scissors. Like, that's a teeny tiny little blade. But it was super cute. And it just sits in the top. She's got a little... So it just would sit there, and so then you could just grab it. It was really, really handy, actually. And also this little felt ball that she glued into a little wood piece that was great to have. So those were the gifts from Debbie and the designers. I had a few gifts that I got. So this one, my table mate Kim gave me. It was full of wintergreen mints, which was perfect because as I was talking, I'd get like the tickly throat, and so I would just pop one of those in and suck on that, and it was fantastic. So appreciated that for me getting over a cold. It was fantastic. And then another table gift, her mom Carol gave us this with like a dishcloth, a peel, and then a piece of floss, and it says dishes or stitches, and I will definitely take stitches any day over dishes. And then my sister gave a pair of soft fuzzy socks with needle threaders, and then hiding inside is this cute little measuring tape. So she gave me a spare one that she had, but my daughter quickly cleaned that for herself to take back up to college. This one, we got a couple of other little gifts from our table mate Carol. There it is. So, or not Carol, this one was Kathy. She gave us this pin and then a zipper pull. When I get to the zipper pull, I'll show you. It's just a bunch of really cute things. I'll only highlight a couple. My sister, for the retreat, gave me this as kind of a sister gift. It's like a little orc tray that you just snap. This one's made out of like pleather, and it's blue and pink. And I actually put my candy in here because I got some candy, so it became my candy tray, and it was perfect. This little guy was given to me. It's like a soda bottle lid, and then they put like a little bit of like stuffing with a piece of fabric wrapped around and glued it in, so it's a little pin cushion. And I use this thing so much. It just sat on my table, and I would just stick my needles in it when I was done or needed to switch. It was perfect. Highly recommend it. Super inexpensive, probably pretty quick to make. So if you're looking for an idea, that one was fantastic. I loved this little hedgehog. I have a thing for hedgehogs. I love hedgehogs. So my dog had a had a hedgehog that was his favorite toy, and ever since, hedgehogs have kind of become a family favorite. So and that was from Ray, Stitching Sunshine, Ray Stitching Sunshine. But I'll let you kind of just see some of the other things laid out. I got some super sweet needle minders, waxers. There was someone who made these tassels and charms. There's an Anchor 2023 charm, and then the tassel that I might put on one of my pieces that I started at Stitch West. One of, let's see, Debbie Glitter Dove Fairy made this beautiful scissor charm or scissor bob thing. Super pretty. Oh, this was the other piece too. Kathy's. She went shopping and bought us all zipper pulls from Riley. They're Lori Holt, Be in My Bonnet, Happy Charms. So I got the heart. My sister got the pumpkin because she's obsessed with pumpkins. I got to meet Fiona of Fiona's Cottage, and she gave me this super cute little Ort bag, and it has bees on it, and my husband's a beekeeper, so I've kind of gotten kind of fond of stitching bee stuff. Not necessarily the bees themselves. I've been stung, and it's not my favorite thing. I was the first one to actually get stung, and I got infected, so it was great times. But I love this, and it's perfect because, like I said, I love bees. I have several bee bags, so it will just live in one of those little bee bags for when I travel. And I'll just there was one thing I do have to share. So I got to meet, she's going to be so excited that I'm actually doing this. I got to meet Amy from Amy J Creates, and she is the sweetest, kindest woman ever. She's always sending me messages like, I miss you. I miss your floss tubes. You need to start Flosstube back up. She's so supportive, so loving, so kind, and just a beautiful person. She came and hunted me down, and I didn't post anywhere that I was going other than in the group on the Facebook page. And so the fact that she knew that I was there, she came, she hunted me down, she talked to me for over an hour. We just sat and talked. She recognized my sister from when she came, and she went back and grabbed, she's from Utah, but lives in Switzerland. And she brought Swiss chocolate. And so she came and brought a Swiss chocolate. And I haven't eaten it yet because I had to show. But she is a beautiful person. And she just finished her own retreat. It was like a 50-person retreat in Switzerland. And we were joking that I need to come with my sister in 2 years and go, and then afterwards stay for a week, and she would take us to like the Lindor Truffle Factory and all the fun places in Switzerland, and I'm kind of tempted, I must say. So anyway, it was a joy to meet her. And then I got to meet Anna Rote, who is such a beautiful, kind person as well. I think that's a commonality of stitchers. They're some of the most generous, kind people that you will ever meet. But it was such a joy to see these people in person that I have followed and have built these relationships with. And Anna is one that we're always commenting on each other's posts, and so it was really a beautiful thing to be able to meet her as well. I got to meet Colette, the highway stitcher, which is really funny because she lives in the same town I do. Like maybe 10 minutes from my house. And yet I had to go all the way to Salt Lake, about an hour drive, to actually meet up with her. And she is so kind. She's always checking in on me too and seeing how I'm doing and commenting on my posts. And she's such a kind woman. And it was a joy to meet her. I got to meet Emily Call. Yeah. From her, I stitched her. I followed her Etsy shop for a long time, and it used to be Salt and Pepper Designs, and I think it's just now Emily Call Designs. Anyway, very kind woman and so sweet. She's invited me to come stitching with them, and anyway, just everybody that I met, it was so fun to just chat with them. Having the commonality of stitching was so fun. And to be able to go in knowing that you have a commonality, I was very nervous. I'm a talker, but I don't like meeting new people. I I feel like there's always that awkwardness of I don't know you and how do I get to know you? And so sometimes I have a hard time, like, I mean, I'm fine when people come up and talk to me, but going up and talking to other people and kind of getting out of that comfort zone is a little bit difficult for me. But I loved it. It was so fun to meet all of these stitchers and to walk around and be like, oh, I love that stitching. Oh, I love that stitching. And to see at the brag table these gorgeous Mirabilias and Bella Filipinas. And there was a Bella Filipina that just had all of these beads just like encrusted all over it. It was stunning. And to be able to have a chance to see all these things in person, I was like, and I want to stitch that, and I want to stitch that. And so it was dangerous, but it was so fun. And I would definitely 100% go again. I would recommend going, even if you're going by yourself. The people are so warm and welcoming that you will find a home and you will be friends with them within a few moments. It's like it's just how it is. So it was fun to meet all of these women that I follow and know online. I got to meet Christy, and I follow her on Instagram and found her Flosstube because I was looking for a bow tutorial. And she's Java Girl Stitches, and like just again so warm and kind. So it was a beautiful experience. I would highly recommend it to anyone who is even considering it. And I'm really kind of sad that I don't get to go in the spring because I really love Primrose Cottage. They're definitely a new favorite designer of mine. So I don't know. We'll see what happens, but probably won't get to go to that one. But I I enjoyed it. It was incredible and filled my heart and filled my soul, and I'm so grateful that Deb and Kef do these and that it's something that we as stitchers can come together and enjoy and come from all over the world. And it was a beautiful thing. So thank you for joining me. Thank you for listening to me kind of ramble on. I didn't really have much of a plan going into all of this, and it probably showed. But it was fun to come back and chat with you. We'll see you in hopefully like just a couple of weeks. I do have a lot of stitching that I can share. So we'll see you later. Bye.